Hi, I'm Richie Castellano,
and I suck at looping.
Luckily for me, Singular Sound has come out with the Aeros Loop Studio, which has a lot of features that make looping easier for guys like me. And we're going to dive right into it. First, let's talk about the actual unit itself. This thing is built like a tank. It's meant to be operated with your feet. It's got 4 heavy-duty foot switches and this slider, which is a volume control, or you can scroll through menus with it, that is meant to be operated with your foot, which is really cool. The first thing you're going to notice about the Aeros Loop Studio is this full color touchscreen. It's very cool, and yes, it is a touchscreen. See? There you go. Here's the settings page. There's a lot of stuff that we're going to go through. And you can also access updates. You can connect this to Wi-Fi. There's a quick start guide in case you get confused about anything. You can store the songs. There's a SD card slot on here. You can have up to a 32 gigabyte SD card for extended loop time. You store all your songs, or you can do updates through the SD card slot. I want to take a moment to talk about how I have this set up right now. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this. Right now, this is a stereo device, meaning you can do left and right ins, left and right outs. I have this in mono mode. So let's take a look at the settings. So I'll just press that, and then you can use this volume wheel to scroll up and down, which is really cool. So my recording source is the main in. There are 2 sets of inputs on this unit. There's the main inputs and the aux inputs. I'm using the main right now for recording. Input level is instrument. That's how I'm using it right now. Okay, audio output, stereo or mono. Now, normally I would do this in stereo. Today I'm setting this up as a summed mono setup, and I'll tell you why. I have my guitar going through the HX Stomp into the left input of the Aeros Loop Studio. Then I have my Roland Hand Sonic percussion pad that's going into the right input. So I'm almost using this like a 2-channel mixer, which is really cool. So I can record 2 separate sources. We have loop playback routing, so that's going to go out through the main out. I could set it up through both, and the reason you'd want to do that, I'm going to get to that in a second. Through the aux output, you can have a discrete mix, meaning if you have an in-ear monitor set up and you don't want the audio to hear, say, the click track that you're playing to, you can only route it to the aux output if you so choose. Or say, for example, you're playing with a drummer who wants to hear the click that you're looping to. There's a bunch of different possibilities. For this video, we are using the aux out for the click, and that's going to its own discrete track, and we'll put that up and down just so you can hear what it's doing. Other features are aux in routing. So we're just using aux out for that. We're not using that today. Here we go, click routing. We want the click going to aux out for this video. You could do it through both, so the click will come out of both sets of outputs, but today we're just going to do aux out. Here's an interesting setting, very important. Click after recording first track. So if you do use the click track, you can have it set up where the click track will go away after you're done recording your first track. For this video, I'm going to keep it on the whole time. Like I said, it's going to be going to its own discrete output, so we want to keep the click in. But you might use it differently. Then you have an independent click volume. And then there's a bunch of MIDI features that we're not going to get into in this video. But this will do a lot of things. Like, for example, if you have the Beat Buddy, you can have them talk to each other and be in sync with each other, which is really cool. Another thing you might notice here is my expression pedal. While the Aeros Loop Studio does have its own expression pedal to, double this control over here, today I'm just using that for volume for the HX Stomp so I can sort of mix myself as I'm playing. So let's create a song, okay? I'm going to hit the Loop Studio icon. Here are all of our song choices here. So I'll call it song 1 for now, although it does have a full keyboard if you wanted to change that. Record stereo, number of tracks. Okay, very important. This works in 2 different modes. 2x2 mode means you can record 2 separate tracks with 2 separate song sections. We're going to do that first to keep things simple. In 6x6 mode, obviously you have 6 tracks and 6 different song sections. We're going to sync tracks to length, okay. Quantize to measure. This is going to be the most helpful feature for me with the Loop Studio. When I use other loop pedals, sometimes I'm not 100% precise on when I hit the pedal, and then you have loops that are not the right length, and it sounds like there's a bit of a stutter when they loop. This eliminates that. It will pull you to the nearest beat or the nearest measure and make the loops the perfect length, and it makes life a lot easier. Time signature 4/4, tempo 98. Let's do 98. count-in measures. So I'm going to ask this to play 1 bar of count-in before I start playing. So that looks good to me. I'm going to hit save. Okay, good. So now the functions related to these foot switches are here. They don't only do single tap, you can do holds and you can do double taps as well. And we're going to get into that a little later. But right now, let's record something. All right, let's do a new 2x2 song. I have an open song, a blank song here. Let's tap the tempo in first. Okay, that's cool. And I'm going to hit this record button. Once I hit this, it's going to play 1 bar of click. I'm going to start playing, and when I hit it again, that's going to set the length of the top track's loop. Now, if I hit it a little earlier, thanks to the quantize feature, it's going to still make it a perfect loop and lock it to the nearest bar line, which is really cool. So, wish me luck. Do some drums. All right, I don't like what I played there, so I'm going to undo that by holding this button down. There we go, that's better. And if you notice, I hit the stop button. If you hit it once, it'll stop at the nearest bar line. If you hit it twice, it'll stop immediately. So now that we have that set up, I want to talk about the next section of the song. And this is a 2x2 song, so we can have 2 parts, okay? But I kind of don't want to redo my, and the drum beat, because I'm really happy with the way that sounds. I want that to carry over to the next part. So to do that, all you have to do is on the top track, in 2x2 mode, it only works on the top track. You have to hit this green circle, and if you'll notice, there's a white box around it now. That's telling us that track is locked. So now it's going to carry over to the next part. So I'm going to do another part, and you're going to hear how that track carries over. So here we go. Here we go. Now I have 2 parts, and I can jam over it now. One thing I want you to hear is, this is what's coming out of the aux mix. So right now you're going to hear the aux. So that's only click. Here's what they sound like together. So here's the aux mix and the stereo mix. And now I can just play over it. So let me tell you what I just did. If you double tap one of the track buttons, it'll mute it. So you can have dropouts on the fly. It's pretty cool. Another thing I want to show you is how to mix while you're playing. So let's say I want to bring my bass and rhythm guitar down. So check this out. if you hold this button down, so really easy. You just hold down this foot switch. It brings you to the mixer page, and you can select which track you want to mix. Now let's talk about 6x6 mode. That's where you can record 6 different tracks and up to 6 different song sections. Now I know a lot of people use loopers as songwriting sketch pads, so let's say that we're going to lay down an idea right now, and that's an idea that we want to bring over to our computer. Well, if you record to the built-in SD card slot, you can bring it into your DAW, like Pro Tools, for example. So let's set it up here. So I'm going to go to the Edit button. So it's called Song 2, that's fine. We're going to save it to the SD card. And we're going to change the number of tracks to 6x6. Then hit Save. Okay, we're ready to go now. Now we're going to do a 6x6 song. If you'll notice, I have 6 circles here representing each of the 6 tracks. We're going to also have 6 parts. We'll probably do 3 parts in this video, but you'll see this column represents the different sections of the song. So here we go. Oh, made a mistake on that one. So I'm gonna hit play and then I'm gonna hold it down to undo. There we go. So now when I'm ready, I'll hit the record again. All right, here we go. Okay, so now we have our 6 tracks recorded. Now I'm going to add a new part. Before I do that, I want to lock the first 3 tracks because those are like my rhythm section tracks that aren't going to change throughout the course of this song. So to do that, all I'm going to do is click around the boxes. Now notice, you can't just lock the middle tracks. You have to start from the top. So there we go. We have that track locked. That's my chicka chicka guitar. Then we have the drums. And we have the cymbals. All right, so now I'm going to show you how to switch parts. right. Here we go, next part. Yeah. Let's mix that down a little. Yeah. Now let's switch back. Here we go. All right, 6 by 6. So now let's save it. Okay, the song is saved, and now we're going to bring it into our DAW. In this case, I'm using Pro Tools. So now I've just imported all of the tracks from the SD card and dragged them into Pro Tools to bar 1. I know that my song inside the Loop Studio was at 98 BPM, so I'm going to change my tempo to 98 to match. So let's see what our first track is. Okay, that's just the guitar. I only did 1 bar there. Let's duplicate that and see if the loop works. All right, I might need to crossfade that, but that works pretty good. And then let's see what we have next. We have the octave bass thing, so we can duplicate those 2 sections. Good, okay. Now we have our distorted guitar. So we'll loop that. We have a harmony guitar. Bring that down in volume. Loop that. Okay, then the next part we have, okay, so now we have our neck section for the bass. So it breaks it up into individual clips that you can put wherever you want. So let's go into grid mode here. Put that there. Good. Okay, so I'll delete this track. I don't need that anymore. Let's see what this is. I'll keep that on its own track right there. It's a different kind of sound. Okay, so here's the unison line part on the bass. So we can delete this track now. All right, there's our crunchy unison line, and we doubled that. So we can get rid of this track now. So we have our drums down here. So I'll just loop those throughout. And let's see how our song sounds. So an idea that we started with on our looper, on the Loop Studio, and we were building a song, sketching out ideas, we were able to take that and bring it into our DAW with very little effort. In fact, everything is clipped to the right tempo, so we can just move things around and play with the arrangement on Pro Tools in this case. So that's the video. I'm very impressed by the Loop Studio, and I'd like to thank Singular Sound for making this video possible. If you like this video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.